Okay, since last time I've been learning from the professionals, the broadcasters who've had 20 years experience on television. So I'm following their lead now. So I've got the camera set up just right. We're looking at the ceiling, we've got the light behind me. I'm hardly in shot, we're shaking around, and I'm looking at my face on the screen rather than at the camera. I think that's the current state of how things are supposed to be, but I'm going to change things up a bit. Right, now that's a bit better, isn't it? I mean, I'm not claiming I'm some kind of expert in all this stuff. I'm just disappointed in these people who've been doing it for years and never picked anything up. I mentioned this last time, but it's a bit of a beamer bonnet. I've got to admit, though, they are getting better now. You can see that people have been sent out LED light panels, because you can see it like reflecting in the glasses and things, because they just shoved it down behind the camera. But at least they've got the light in there now, and I think they've been sent out like high-res webcams, and they're being told where to put them. I mean, they really are relying on the techies here to get them out of a hole, and they're doing an excellent job, the techies. But these kind of broadcasters, these presenters, a lot of them, hopeless. But when I was a kid, I wanted to be a vision mixer in the gallery. I think it's because I'd seen it on these programmes. They cut to the gallery and there'd be a person there with all the televisions and all the buttons in front of them and stuff. And they'd go, camera 2 and jump to camera 3 and all that kind of stuff. Well, of course, with all this COVID business, there's people now who are out of work who are vision mixers. In fact, I've got a full gallery in here now. So, Alan, can you cut to camera 3, please? And here we are, we're now on camera 3. Yeah, okay, no, that's not true. But you know what I've done? I've got myself some new equipment. I've kind of thought I'll up the ante a bit. If these TV guys are catching up by figuring out that they need to light their faces and point a camera at it, I thought, well, I need to move things on a bit so they've got something else to kind of aspire to. So yeah, I bought myself an ATEM Mini. No, hold on. Let me get the box. Hold on. ATEM. One of these things. Blackmagic, this is from. Now, these are a bit like hen's teeth at the moment. People have been unable to get them. A lot of people who wanted them, and because of all this broadcasting from home, this kind of explosion in broadcasting from home, the explosion here with all these plugs. But it's basically a little sort of vision mixer type thing, a box to be able to jump between different sources. HP, tomato, barbecue. Let me just, for example, Alan, jump to the screen. Let's bring that up. So now we're looking at the computer screen, and now we're back at me again. So yeah, you get that kind of thing. In fact, I'll show you the box now. I've got a camera pointing down at it. So there we are. We're on number 1 now. So you are now looking at the ATEM Mini. So let me, the trouble is if I press anything, we're going to cut away from here. But let me give you some ideas as to what's going on. Okay, first off, you see that red light there? That shows the microphone. It's coming in from camera 2. Now, that's camera 2 there. I've just cut to it, so I'll go back to the box again. So I'm taking the audio from camera 2. The reason that I've put camera 1, which is the one pointing down at the ATEM Mini, as 1, is because 1 is the only one that becomes a picture-in-picture. So, for example, if I jump to camera... Well, actually, I've got my picture-in-picture controls here, but this isn't going to work, I don't think. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so you can see it's up in the corner, and I've got a choice of where to put the picture-in-picture. But, of course, it doesn't make sense having the same picture on top of the picture that we're looking at. So I can now bring in camera 2, which is me talking to this one, and bring the picture-in-picture on, and there we go. We've got it up in the top corner. I can put it down there and up there. Of course, I'm just playing around, really. I wanted some new tech, but I thought I could kind of shoehorn it into this. I thought it was really something for patrons. Like I'll do these updates every now and then. I thought it might come in handy. Admittedly, I don't need all these things plugged into it. Let me go back to the box again and show you. So at the back here, let me just pull it forward a little bit. Okay, so that's power. It's screwed in as well, so you can't accidentally pull it out. And then that one, what's 4 going to? 4's the computer. No, hold on. No, that one's the computer. One of these is an out, anyway. It might be that one that's the out. And then that one is 4 going to the computer. That one is going up to the camera 3, which is the one with a close-up of me. That's going up to the camera 2, which is the kind of wide shot. And number 1 is going up to an overhead camera. that I've got just pointed down here. Now, the good thing about this is that you can't see at the moment, I'm recording all of this onto a Blackmagic Video Assist. Let me show you that. Hold on. This is getting a bit bizarre, isn't it? I'm even losing track of where I am now. Okay, so the A10 Mini, I did not realise is just 1080p. I've got all these 4K sources going into it, and it's outputting 1080p. However, I bought this thing, the Blackmagic Video Assist 4K, because I kind of was thinking it was 4K through and out. But it doesn't matter, because I bought this one because it has a 7-inch screen. I needed a 7-inch screen because I've got old man eyes. That 5-inch screen, you might as well have a no screen. Now this is a monitor that also records. It's got 2 SD card slots on the side, and it does loads of things beyond that, but I'm just using it. I'm using all these things a little bit basic at the moment. And this is able to take the output from the A10 Mini and record it. So we're recording live now, because otherwise I'd only be able to do this live. I'd have to, what I'm doing now, I'd have to sort of be streaming it live. And I don't want that. I want to be able to go to the loo and have finished drinking my coffee and have a cough and then retake bits if I start going off too far from the topic. Let's do that. Here we are. Now this camera, by the way, I've put on a manual focus because I'm kind of at the edge of the screen, and that is another thing that this does. Manual focusing on your cameras, you can have it bring up a green, like a thing around the edge. So I can see on this screen now, if I look down, I've got like green around here and on my collar and stuff, you know, to show that that's in focus. It shows that this is in focus. So I was able to focus this camera while looking at this monitor. And this camera does not have one of those flip-up monitors on it. And sometimes, of course, even that one, hold up, sorry, that one over here, that's all the way across the room. I couldn't reach that one. So I can see that this is in focus. Again, all this shirt's lit up in green. So that's a real benefit to me. But yeah, I mean, it's recording 1080p at the moment, and it's ProRes as well. So 1080p 60. So, hey, I'm going to be putting out a video on 1080p 60. I suppose that's something, isn't it? Although when I think about it, these cameras, if I've got them set to 4K, I don't know what the live video output is on them. Especially this one, because I've got this one recording. This is the backup in case things go wrong. So yeah, you can have the cameras recording, video output going into this thing, out the thing, and into this, and this is recording as well. So anyway, I'll maybe talk about that more in the future, but that's a couple of things I bought to really kind of up the quality in here. Now you'll notice there's been a bit of a change of clothing. That's because this is another day. I cut the video at the point you've just seen, and I'll explain more about this in a moment. I think we'd better carry on though. I just want to finish off talking about this whole setup I've got here, because there are some issues I've noticed. For example, I've loaded a load of the video into iMovie, started editing it, and there's a lip sync issue between the audio and the video. I think the audio falls slightly behind the video. And so somewhere in amongst this setup that's happening, which it wasn't before when I just got the audio straight out of the camera. So I'll have to investigate that. In fact, what I've done, I've changed all the camera's outputs into 1080p 60, because I'm recording 1080p 60. They're all going out in 1080p 60. They were previously like 4K 30. I thought maybe there's a bit of a delay in there somewhere. We'll figure it out. Not just that though, the video comes out as ProRes. Out of this Video Assist monitor thing. In fact, I'll cut in a bit of footage that I've just shot of the monitor just to show you what the focusing looked like that I was describing, because of course it's easier to show it with a picture than just describe it. But yeah, the video options on this, it doesn't have like an MP4 type thing, which is a bit of a shame. So I've got like ProRes, various different ones of that, and they're massive files and they take a heck of a lot of time to import into the software. And then there's some other file formats for Avid, I think. I need to investigate it a bit more. But, you know, not entirely happy with the process. It's not as easy as just recording into a camera. So I think what I'm going to do in future is probably just use it as a switch between showing things on the screen and one camera maybe. But we'll see. You know, played around with stuff, early days yet. I'll just jump to the other camera. So I've moved the wires around now as well, so this is going to confuse me even more. This is now camera 2, that other one's camera 1. The monitor's still on 4 and the overhead's on 3. I'll show you more on the overhead one in a minute because I want to go through the wipes and things. But there was something else I was going to talk about just then. While I was editing, it came back to me what it was I wanted to mention at that point, and it's this. You might remember the IN9 Nixilizer. I featured it in a previous video, and it's now become part of my hi-fi. Well, it's back on Indiegogo again. There's another campaign, but unfortunately it doesn't seem to be attracting much attention. So Jürgen asked me if I'd do a bit of a shout out. Now, it's not normally my thing, but since he sent me the previous one, I just thought I'd mention it here, that if you saw one of those in my previous video, but you missed out on the campaign last time, well, it's back again. All you have to do is type in the details you see on screen on Indiegogo and you'll find it. I mean, no way associated with this campaign other than just mentioning that it exists. Anyway, back to the video. It doesn't matter. Let's go to the overhead view. Right, so here we are. This is what you can see now. This camera isn't a great camera, so sometimes things bleach out. That says cut on it, and that says auto, and that says FTB. Oh, fade to black. Let's press it. There you go. That's fade to black, and we'll take that off, and it flashes while it's faded to black. There's a couple of other things that do similar things here. I'm sure that does the same. Just goes straight to black. Okay, let's take that off. Help! Come back. There we are. No, that's camera 4. There we go. That's camera 3. Right, so let's do a couple of these wipes. You can see the wipe area here. I just wanted to also mention there's key for like chroma key. Haven't got involved in any of that. Bit too complicated for me, all that stuff at the moment. But let's see what these different wipes are. So I'm going to we'll start there. You see that one? And then we'll go there. Then we'll go there. And there. But I'll go to camera 1 and then, well, if we switch it on, I'll start. See, that one's highlighted now. Highlighted with a 1 second duration. You can change the duration. I think they generally start with a second if I look at them. Yeah, but we can do some of them at different ones. Half a second, 1 second, 1.5 and 2 is listed on here. So let's start with a 1 second side thing and we'll go to camera 1 with that. Which one's camera 1? There, that one. Now it didn't happen because I didn't press the auto button. Let me bring you back to the overhead view. So you see this auto, we've normally got cut and auto there. Auto is the wipe. So now we're on that. When I press one of these sources, it's going to wipe to it. So let's go to camera 1. There we go. Right. And I'm going to press the next wipe now. And I'm going to wipe to camera 2. Oh, nice. That's like a Star Wars wipe, isn't it? Let's do that again and go back to the other camera on a 2 second wipe. Okay, in a galaxy far, far away. And then we'll go to this sideways one, cut back over here. Yeah, so that kind of brings the whole picture in sideways. We'll do it again over there. And then this one, I think some sort of fades it in or something. Let's find out. Oh, no, it squeezes it. That's very kind of 80s, isn't it? That kind of squeeze. Whoops, I pressed it twice there. You can do some kind of weird effects like that. There we are. Right. And then mix. Well, that just kind of does a blend like that. And of course, you could do that really slow. Let's try that on a 2 second. See how that works. Yeah, it's like a very slow fade. And then dips to white. So if we press that, it'll dip to white in between. It's like a bit of a kind of a cleanser, that one, I suppose. So there you go. Those are all the wipes. And I think I'll put it back to cut because with cut, you just press the button, you just cut between them. Right, so now let me tell you about why I've got a different outfit on. I kind of crashed yesterday. I was making this and I just completely ran out of energy and kind of went zombified, and I've spent about 14 hours in bed, and I just wanted to get this out this weekend, but I'm not in a good state. I'll tell you what's been happening. I've been just spending too long making videos, which is a silly thing to say because it's not exactly like I'm coal mining or anything, is it? But I think it just wears your brain out after a while. As far back as I can remember, I mean, we're talking 6-8 months, it's just every day's been the same. You get up, you have your breakfast, you work on a video, you have your lunch for a few minutes, you work on a video, have your tea, or should I say dinner? I forgot. Anyway, we call it tea around here. Watch a bit of telly, go to bed, and that's it. It's just like video, bed every day. And you know what? It gets a bit much after a while. It wears you down. Not that I don't like making videos, but somehow my brain just can't keep doing it. It needs a rest. Although the trouble is trying to get a rest is difficult because I can't get to sleep when I'm making a video like the last one, that Technics SVP 100. That was like such a complicated thing, learning about it, reading up, memorising, all those things. It took me 6 hours to do the bits to camera because I don't use an auto cue, so I have to memorise them. One of those was like a 9-minute monologue about the history of PCM, and that was all memorised, and it took about 20 takes or something. So, not that I kind of forget what I'm saying, but I'll just say a word slightly wrong. I'll stumble over a word, and I think everyone's just going to say, "Oh, you said that word wrong," so I have to do it again. So anyway, this is what's been going on. I've been doing this over and over and over again, and I've just worn myself out. So I just need a few days off, is what I'm saying. But I wanted to get this finished first. Now let's just go back over to this camera, because you'll see that that's a bit wider than it was before. I put it in 1080p 60, so I'm missing a 4K crop. Now the problem with this camera is it's got a fixed lens on it, so I can't zoom in and just take that off, which is one of the downsides I wanted to mention about this. You get what you get. If your cameras are set up and then you're recording it onto this thing, I'm getting what's coming out of the camera. So I can't later on kind of crop in on this. Well, I could, but every time I press this button, I'd have to then change that crop because it's cropping in on the video as a whole. So really don't want to be doing any changes to the video once you've captured it. Not really too happy with it just yet. It's interesting to play around with, but it makes my job actually harder because there's things I can't do that I could do before. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the millions. So, behind me here, let me move, 1 million. Now this, I've got to be very careful about this because I'll come across like a curmudgeonly curmudgeon. I'm not. But, I'm not a round numbers guy. Now, I don't know if there's a syndrome for this. It's like a syndrome for everything. If you don't like clowns, it's supposed to be chlorophobia and stuff. It isn't. But anyway, all that kind of stuff. If there's a thing, there's a word for it. What do you think the word is for someone who doesn't get much of a significance out of round numbers? Because that's me. I get the significance. There's loads of people following the channel, which is great, but I was just as happy with 990,000 as I am with 1 million. It's not like that number triggered anything in me as far as excitement or enthusiasm. It wasn't like I was looking forward to it. It's perhaps partially because you get a load of stats with YouTube. Load of it. I mean, there's stats galore coming out your ears. Every time you put a video up, it says, this video isn't doing as good as the last video. Here's what the last video did. Normally by this time it would be 200,000, it's only 150, it's 25% less. Maybe it's the thumbnail. Let's have a look at this. And it just throwing all this stuff. And it's like, I don't care, because it's like commoditizing a video. Each video is an idea, something that I found interesting that I wanted to talk about. And I'm not in the business of, well, let's make the video super popular. It's like, no, I'll make the best video I can about something I'm interested in. And if people want to see it, good. If they don't, well, not as good. But I'm not going to not do that video, you know what I mean? Let me just talk about Social Blade a minute here. Right, so I think it must have been about 4 years ago I looked on this Social Blade website. Let me bring it in on the screen. And now I thought, can I bring myself in on a picture-in-picture? There we go. Right. This is the bit I wanted to show you, though, at the bottom, the grade. Total grade B, so I'm B grade, whatever that is. I could press the question mark, but I don't care. According to Social Blade, on their ranking system, I'm 50,462nd. Subscriber rank, I presume that's theirs, in the world, maybe, I don't know, 19,727th in the world. 21,000th as far as video views go, 692nd in the UK, and 407th for tech. I don't know, is that worldwide tech? I don't know. But you get all these stats, and I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, I looked on Social Blade, or was it, there was another one called D-Base, which has gone now. And it said, you'll reach 1 million subscribers in August 2020. So it was pretty close, wasn't it? August 2020, and I did it in July. So I've had a very steady and easily, projectable, is that a word? Number of subscribers for quite a while. Every month you get like another 1,000 or whatever it was, so that eventually you could figure it out. So I knew this number ages ago, and it's never been anything that on my radar as, I'll put it in my calendar, or hey, what, when I do that. And I think it's just because of me. This is my problem. And I'm not saying I don't like having 1 million. I'd like 1 million subscribers, but if YouTube just said your subscribers are not very many, quite a few, loads, a lot more than that, just like rather than numbers, I'd be quite as happy with that, because it really isn't about the numbers. Maybe it's just me, but when you get to, it's your 30th birthday or your 21st birthday or your 30th or your 40th, and it's like a and that's never really hit either. I don't get the thing with New Year. When people go, it's a New Year, and it's like, just anything with kind of dates and anniversaries and numbers, anything that's round them. And people like 10 rather than 9. If you get to 10, that'd be great. So 9's all right. Quite happy with 9. 11 would be good as well. Is that a syndrome? Is there a thing that exists for that? Because for me, a million's nice. I was quite happy with 990,000. I'll be happy with 1,000,001. But there's no kind of there's nothing happened at 1,000,000. Now, I'll tell you what, if something did happen, I think the thing is that it's more, perhaps with me, it's not about the numbers, it's about what happens as a result of the number, if the number is the trigger. So say, for example, somebody said on Patreon the other day, it would be great if when you get to 1,000,000 you stop getting those terrible adverts before your videos. I thought that would be a good thing, yeah. If there was, like, say, in YouTube algorithm, it says if you get to 1,000,000, you get better adverts, and therefore people are more likely to watch them and you might get more ad revenue. That would be a tangible thing. Or if, I don't know, I'm not too sure. I wouldn't want to be part of any club or anything. If it said like, you're now part of some exclusive club where you can meet up with people or something, that's not really my cup of tea. So, yeah, there's very few things that it would really be of interest to me. But for me, it's always a kind of personal thing. I'm happiest when I've done a video that I think is good and I've made a good effort on, and I quite like the edit that's come out at the end. I think, yeah, that's covered it. I'm glad I managed to do that, and it looked all right. And then I equally get quite despondent when I put out a video and I just don't like it. It hasn't worked out how I want it. And those are kind of tangible feelings that I get. But sorry, the 1,000,000 just hasn't done it. I know I'm going to get a little, well, not a little, big plaque thing, but I'm not going to be putting it up on the wall because I haven't really got any space. I might use it as a drinks tray or something, who knows. But yeah, I suppose if they said you get to 1,000,000, we'll buy you a car or something, then I would have been looking at that number, But yeah, numbers don't do it for me. Is that a thing? Are other people like that when numbers don't do it for them? Because this made me very difficult, I think, to manage, because a lot of people, it seems, are very motivated by numbers, by round numbers. So if you do this, you get 100% on your appraisal. It never had any impact on me. If somebody scored me 1 out of 1,000, it wouldn't have made me feel anything at all, any different to if they scored me 1,000 out of 1,000. I'd just be like, well, it's just an arbitrary thing that someone's done. Talking about arbitrary, off tangent, but of course, it's like the year. The year, people get excited about Happy New Year and all the rest of it, and I know it's driven by the moon and all the rest of it, but planet revolving and stuff. Yeah, big astronomy guy here. But it's like back in the, what was it now? Romulus calendar. They had 10 months, so the year was 10 months long. And then we go, ooh, Happy New Year then, in what would be now, it's going to be like August or something. I don't know, but I bet their year fell out of position pretty quickly when they suddenly started having winter in the middle of like June and stuff. They said, this calendar's not working. But like the months, of course, I'm sure everyone knows this, but if there's one person out there that doesn't, you can just tell by the names of the months. September, sept, French for 7, October, octagon, 8 sides. I mean, it's all Latin that it originates from, but you can still see the words in the, in current language, can't you? November Novem is 9 in Latin, and December, of course, decimal 10. So December was the 10th month. It's now the 12th. They just moved it around a bit. But so if you move a year around like that, maybe, I don't know. I'm sorry, rambling, but I'm really happy that everyone's happy, and it's nice to have a load of subscribers. But I'm just saying the 1,000,000 thing hasn't done anything for me. Maybe it should do, but I was really happy with 900,000. I'll tell you the number whatever the number was when I could give up my job and start doing this, that's probably the most significant number, but I didn't look at the number. It was never based around the number. It was more around, I was changing my job, I was feeling ill, I couldn't go to work anymore, there was nothing else I could do. I kind of worked it out and thought I could just about afford to pay the car loan and the house loan and stuff and still make videos. So whatever number the subscribers were then, I think it was probably like 700,000, 600,000, whatever that was. That was a very significant number. But again, I think adverts paid more back then than they do now. I think I get less people watching videos now on 1 million subscribers than I did back when I had 600,000, because there's more channels. In fact, looking at this Social Blade thing, looking at my million stats, I've got the ones for like 990, and I've actually fallen back. So I've gone to 1 million, but I'm now further down in the rank, further down in the subscriber rank, further down in views, further down in the country rank, and further down in the tech rank than I was at 909. So a lot of people coming on, getting very big numbers, very quick growth. I'm just like Mr. Slow and Steady, you know, like the tortoise type of thing, and everything's passing him by. But it's fine. I'm not in this competition. It's not, as I say, it's not a motivating thing for me. I just want to make the best videos I can. That's what motivates me. The next thing I wanted to say is somebody asked me last time to make a video, well, mention in the video what I thought about new consoles, the new consoles that come out, the PlayStation 5, is it? The Xbox thingamajig. You can see by me saying that I'm kind of not that interested. It's not that I'm against them. I'm really enthusiastic about games, but I was. That's the thing. I mean, at one point, I got a job almost running the HMV Megastore games section because of my knowledge of games. I used to try and write for games magazines. I had interviews with like Future Publishing in Bath and things. And there was a New Computer Express. They were somewhere near Manchester, and there was another one as well. But yeah, I never managed to get into all that. But I was really like into that stuff. And then I kind of just grew out of it. I think it's because I'm doing this YouTube stuff. This takes up, as I mentioned at the beginning, every waking moment almost, apart from watching a bit of telly in the evening. But then that's wind down. I can't concentrate on like screens and games. And I think, you know, you spend so long looking at a screen all day, it's kind of hard to carry on doing it anymore. I'd imagine you get these like professional gamers, and if you were to, after they've done like tournaments, if you said, do you want to sit down and play a game? They'd be like, oh no, I don't want to play any more games. So it's that kind of thing. So yeah, over the years, I've ended up buying all the consoles over the years, and a lot of them never really ended up playing. I kind of love the tech. I love getting a new console, new thing in a box. Last 5 years or so, I've learned, no, just stop buying them. You're not going to play them. However much you think you are, however excited you are by there being a new piece of tech in your house from someone like Sony or whatever, you're not going to play it. So yeah, sorry. I think I'm gonna tap out with this current gen and just sort of say, look, I can't. Forget it, Matt. Don't spend your money on something you're not going to use. He says, looking at all this tech on this table, is probably not going to go to as much use as it should do. The last thing I wanted to talk about is television, like lockdown TV. People were wondering if I was going to start to get more views from people who are sort of in their houses because of lockdown. Well, of course, that's kind of lifted in a way now, so there's more people going back to work. I haven't noticed an increase, I've got to be honest with you. One thing I think we'll all notice, though, is this winter, autumn, winter, and into next year especially, is a lack of new programmes. I mean, you're already noticing it at the moment with sport and things, and live sort of soap operas that are on all the time that aren't normally. But, you know, like proper TV shows, you know, like you get your one that'll have 20 episodes a year, you know, like, I don't know, Navy, NCIS or something, if they're still making it, you know, that kind of thing, Law and Order or whatever. All those things that they film a load of episodes in the summer, back to back, and then they'll put them out in the autumn, winter. And even the ones that they'd normally film autumn, winter and put out in the summer, nothing is getting made at the moment. So there's going to be a massive gap on TV in the winter. And I was thinking it's probably time to catch up on those box sets that you bought years ago and never got round to. I'd imagine TV's probably going to do almost box sets. I would not be surprised if television started showing old things, as in really old things, that they could get very cheap and nobody's shown for years. For example, $6 Million Man or Starsky and Hutch, those kind of things. Because there's a load of episodes of those just sitting in the vaults that they've thrown out on video and things in the past, but on DVD and that. But if I was running a TV station, put it like that, I'd say, right, for Friday night's retro night, and it's $6 Million Man, and you've got like 200 episodes or whatever you can show. It would fill some gaps. So talking of that, let me cut to camera one for a close-up. I got the Le Nouvel Homme Invisible. the new Invisible Man, it's not called that. It's called the Gemini Man when it was out. Do you remember Gemini Man? Very few people do. I bought this, I don't know, 6 months ago or something. It's been sitting on the shelves. It's just 12 episodes because they cancelled it. It was actually the follow-up to The Invisible Man with David McCallum, which was also cancelled. Exact same kind of crew behind it, Harve Bennett and all those kind of people. But they did a reimagining because I think the David McCallum one, if I remember rightly, he had to take all his clothes off to be invisible. In fact, there was a church group that complained about this, there being a naked man on the television, even though you couldn't see him. It was just a bloke in a blue morph suit, of course, with a chroma key cutting him out. But yeah, so when that was cancelled because not enough people watched it, they made this version, which was this bloke, Ben Casey, I think, and he had a digital watch, which... clever idea, because if you think The Invisible Man, you need a bit more jeopardy, it's a bit like every superhero needs something that's like a kryptonite or something they can't do. So with the Gemini Man, he could make himself invisible for 15 minutes a day, and he had a digital watch he pressed, and he could just do it for like as little tiny segments, but up to the maximum of 15 minutes a day. And of course, he had this watch that if he lost his watch, he'd disappear forever and all that kind of stuff. But just, yeah, adds a bit more to it and easier for them. They don't have to get a guy to take his clothes off. He just presses a button on his watch and then the freeze frame, he walks out of shot. Pretty ropey effects, obviously, as you can imagine. But it's the usual thing, pulling things along with invisible wires and that. But I just wanted to mention that the reason I mention this is because... I think it might be my earliest memory, because it was only on telly for a few episodes. They showed 6 out of the 12, I think, before... they made 12, but only showed 6 of them. And I look back at the BBC Genome Project, and that shows the old Radio Times and TV Times, of course. And it was on in 1976. Now, years ago in the 90s, I found an old tape with me talking, like, must have sounded like a toddler on it, making silly noises and things. But I'd also... recorded the Gemini Man theme on it. This was a thing I used to do. I don't know if everyone else did this back in the day when you'd hold your tape recorder up to the telly. But I know people recorded music off like Top of the Pops and things. I recorded TV themes. That was my thing. I used to love TV themes. Starsky Hutch, as I mentioned, $6 Million Man and the Gemini Man. And for years I heard this tape and I thought, is that the man from Atlantis? I'm not too sure. And I think this might have been the early days of the internet. So I looked up. It wasn't the man from Atlantis. It took me a while to figure out what it was, and it was the Gemini Man. So that shows that at that age, I held a tape recorder up to the television in 1976, recorded a theme from a programme that I was watching, a programme that I remember, because I remember him having this digital watch. I really wanted the digital watch because I thought it'd make me invisible and stuff. So I can now tell that I was 5 years old when I watched it. So that's pretty good, because I can put this to an exact time. 1976 is when I last saw this. Anyway, I've been watching it. It's all right. I'm not saying go and watch it, but it's just interesting that I could... last time I saw this, I was 5 years old. So, yeah, you might find a bit more television like that coming on. I think I'm really starting to blather again now. I can tell I'm crashing again. So, look, let me put this out. Let me put it together. This is the video for patrons this month. I know it's not as up to the usual kind of standard, but you managed to have a look at a bit of tech here, a little bit of blathering, well, perhaps a bit more than that. And I'm going to take a bit of a break from things for, a few days. I'm not talking about you won't see any videos for ages. Well, that dust comparison thing, that's in the can. So I can put that one out on YouTube in a week's time. This we can consider being the Patreon video sort of for this week. Normally you're a week ahead. I haven't done anything after that. I've got a couple of ideas of things I want to do. I need to edit that video together where I was fixing the tape recorder, and so that might not be too difficult to make. So I'm just going to ease myself back into it. But yeah, let me just take a few days off. That's all. But I'm going to use Fade to Black at the end of this. I was quite excited. I looked down and saw FTB. I thought, great, I'm going to press that. So that's it for the moment. Thanks for all your support. It's invaluable. And I'm going to mention that Technics thing, would not have been able to buy that without the patron support, because it cost me a lot of money that is really wasted in a way, because it's something I'm not going to be using regularly. It's not something I need, not something really anyone needs nowadays, but I wanted to make a video about it, and I wanted to do something that was a little bit extravagant for the millionth one, because I know people are excited about that. Even if a number doesn't hit a target with me, I can see it was triggering a lot of other people to be like, oh, congratulations, which is really nice of everyone thanking me for that. So don't take what I said earlier on as being like a negative thing, that I'm down on it. I'm just saying I don't get that same excitement out of 1 million that it seems a lot of people like the nice round number. I'm happy with the numbers either side, just as happy as I am with 1 million. But yeah, so yeah, I'm going on, but I've got to stop because it's just getting weird. So let's fade to black.